Have you ever heard of a criminal who hijacked a plane, stole a fortune, jumped into a stormy night from 10,000 feet in the air, and was never seen again? It sounds like a Hollywood movie, but it actually happened. More than 50 years later, the FBI still doesn't know who he was, whether he survived, or where the money went. This is the unbelievable story of D.B. Cooper, the man who may have committed the perfect crime. November 24th, 1971. A man dressed in a black suit quietly boarded Northwest Orient Flight 305 in Portland, Oregon. The flight was headed to Seattle and was expected to last only 30 minutes. Nothing about him seemed unusual. He looked like an ordinary businessman in his mid-40s. After taking his seat near the back of the plane, he ordered a drink and calmly waited for takeoff. But moments after the aircraft left the ground, he handed a note to a flight attendant named Florence Schaffner. At first, she thought the man was flirting with her and slipped the note into her purse without reading it. Then the man leaned toward her and quietly said, "Miss, you'd better read that note. I have a bomb." Suddenly, everything changed. The note demanded $200,000 in cash and 4 parachutes. To prove he wasn't bluffing, he opened his briefcase. Inside were wires, red cylinders, and what appeared to be a bomb. The flight attendant immediately informed the cockpit. As the plane circled above Seattle, airline executives and the FBI scrambled to meet the hijackers' demands. Surprisingly, the airline agreed to cooperate. Their priority was simple: keep everyone alive. For nearly 3 hours, the plane remained in the air while authorities gathered the money in parachutes. The passengers had no idea what was happening. They were simply told there were technical difficulties. Finally, the aircraft landed in Seattle. The ransom money arrived. 4 parachutes arrived. And Cooper kept his promise. He released all 36 passengers unharmed. Only the pilots, 1 flight attendant, and Cooper remained on board. Then came the part nobody expected. Cooper ordered the plane back into the air. His destination, Mexico City. But investigators believe that wasn't his real plan. As the Boeing 727 flew through heavy rain and darkness, Cooper prepared for something extraordinary. He instructed the flight attendant to enter the cockpit and lock the door. Now, Cooper was alone. At approximately 8:13 p.m., a warning light illuminated inside the cockpit. The rear staircase had been lowered. A few moments later, the aircraft suddenly tilted upward. The pilots knew exactly what had happened. D.B. Cooper had jumped into the darkness, into a violent storm with $200,000 strapped to his body. And then he vanished. The FBI immediately launched one of the largest investigations in its history. Agents searched forests, rivers, mountains, and remote wilderness areas. They expected to find a body. Instead, they found nothing. No parachute, no remains, no trace of Cooper. Investigators believed survival was almost impossible. The weather was terrible. The jump occurred at night. Temperatures were near freezing, and Cooper was wearing nothing more than a business suit and loafers. Most experts assumed he died shortly after landing. Case closed, or so they thought, because something strange happened. Over the next few years, several copycat hijackers attempted similar jumps from aircraft, and many of them survived. Some jumped in conditions even worse than Cooper's. This forced investigators to reconsider their theory. What if Cooper actually made it? What if he escaped? Then, in 1980, nearly 9 years after the hijacking, a major breakthrough occurred. An 8-year-old boy named Brian Ingram was digging in the sand along the Columbia River. Suddenly, he uncovered several decaying bundles of cash. The serial numbers matched the ransom money given to Cooper. For the first time, physical evidence connected to the hijacking had been found. But the discovery only created more questions. How did the money get there? Why was only a small portion recovered? And if Cooper died, where was the rest? The FBI continued investigating. Over the decades, hundreds of suspects were examined. Some were military veterans, some were experienced parachutists. Some even resembled police sketches almost perfectly. One suspect, Richard McCoy, carried out an almost identical hijacking months later. Another, Robert Rackstraw, had military training and a criminal history that seemed to fit perfectly. Yet none of the evidence was strong enough. Every suspect eventually led investigators into a dead end. The mystery only deepened. Then, forensic scientists examined a tie left behind by Cooper. Microscopic particles found on the tie suggested he may have worked in aerospace manufacturing or aircraft production. Some experts even theorized that he had insider knowledge of Boeing aircraft. This could explain how he knew so much about the Boeing 727's unique rear staircase system. But once again, there wasn't enough evidence to identify him. After 45 years of investigation, thousands of interviews, and countless theories, the FBI made a shocking announcement. In 2016, the agency officially closed the case, not because they solved it, because they couldn't. To this day, D.B. Cooper remains the only unsolved skyjacking case in American history. So, what really happened? Did Cooper survive and disappear with the money? Did he die somewhere in the wilderness, never to be found? Or is his identity hiding in plain sight among the hundreds of suspects investigated over the years? More than half a century later, nobody knows. And perhaps that's why the story continues to fascinate people around the world. Because every great mystery leaves behind one final question. What if the perfect crime really exists? And what if D.B. Cooper was the man who got away with it?